Hello and welcome everybody to the Table by Two podcast. This is the weekend Warhammer wrap-up, episode 11, where I go through the 4-1 and 5-0 results from the weekend and pick out a few lists to talk about in a little more detail. This is my first episode in a while because the new General's Handbook sort of screwed over a few things and meant that tournament results weren't particularly valuable or important to talk about, so I sort of skipped a few weeks here. But I'm back and I've got a special guest. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Harley, she, her. I play giants. I play giants and I play them very well.
Yeah. Cool, let's get into this. So these are our results, and it's an interesting week to say the least. Up the top, we've got Soulblight. I'll say some more stuff in a second. Soulblight, then we got Seraphon, then we go Cities, Fireslayer, Sons of Behemoth, Sylvaneth, Lumineth, Realmlords, Daughters of Cain, Gits, then Ironjaws, and then at the bottom, we've got Stormcast, Tzeentch, Hedonites, Hellsmiths, Skavens, Slaves, and Nighthaunt, all with one result each. Soulblight at the top is very interesting. They're an army that hasn't been performing particularly great as of late. They've been doing fine and getting results, but like, if you ask Soulblight players, they hadn't been particularly in love with their book. But they've decided to get a lot of results this week. I think there is an element of, in this transition into the new General's Handbook, and with the Scourge of Akshi rules, players maybe are transitioning away, not permanently, but temporarily, from playing some of the stalwart power players in the meta, in like Daughters of Cain and Sylvaneth or whatever, and maybe moving towards armies that they're more passionate about, sort of personal favorites, or just into armies that have rules that they find exciting. And that could mean that Soulblight is up here. There could also be the new General's Handbook plays very differently to the previous one. Not only with all the Fury dice and Rage mechanics, but also with the new battle plans and battle tactics, which tend to be more aggressive and more mid-board focused. Those factors will come up as we talk about other armies here. So that could follow into the reasons in why Soulblight is performing so well. Maybe it's the Scourge of Akshi Revenant Draconinth, or some of their other rules. Could be a multitude of factors here. I can't really give you a straight answer, but yeah, that's for Soulblight. Seraphon below them is a similar story. They got changes to their battle traits in the most recent battle scroll, which means that they actually have more battle traits. Like, their battle traits just feel better and are more fun to play, which could mean players are more likely to go up and try them again. It could also be how they play into a more mid-board brawl-centric General's Handbook and a few other things. Cities are sort of our stalwart up here, right? They've been doing incredibly well. Cavaliers are arguably the best war scroll in the game right now. They need to go up a magnitude of points, 50 or more probably, before they become fair. But City's doing really well. A return to Fireslayers, which has been exciting. Maybe it's the General's Handbook. Maybe people want to bring out their Magma Droth again. Whole host of things. Sons of Behemoth.
Who wouldn't bring out 5 Magma Droths?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's just better to play with them now, hey?
Yeah, they might be better now. Sons of Behemoth, we'll talk about them later, definitely. Sylvaneth is our stalwart, still doing really well. Same applies to Lumineth and DOK. Git's got some buffs in the Scourge of Akshi and also in the Battle Scroll, so maybe they'll make a comeback. We'll wait and see.
Good to see Git's getting like event results as well after such a long time of kind of just not.
Yeah, it's always good to see them here. I have been proclaiming for as long as I've been making this show that it is Orc Summer, and I think we might be finally getting there. We're going to talk about Ironjaws later. Cruel Boys haven't shown up this week, but I do think Cruel Boys might be back. Like, I don't want to say it's Cruel back yet, because I know some people might come at me for that, but I think Cruel Boys might be there. My boys Stormcast still putting up results, but I don't know how they're gonna play going into this new General's Handbook. I think it's going to be an adjustment. I think a lot of Stormcast lists in the previous General's Handbook really loved the spread out nature of the battle plans, also combined with Scouting Force as a tactic card that was very easy to score with units like Quest of Soulsworn or Paladors or whatever. And I think that maybe going forward, they might need to adjust their game plan, and we'll see what that comes to. Um, Zinch is interesting, still doing well, but not as well as some of the others. Heed Knights is our new book. Um, that book is, yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Heed Knights has always been a niche army, low popularity across the board. So whether it'll truly hit the heights of a Sylvaneth or DOK, I don't know. But the new rules seemed strong when I read them, but we'll wait and see. Hellsmith's still doing stuff. Skaven up here, which is nice because I think Skaven might be in a bit of a rough spot this General's Handbook. Slaves to Darkness got some cool stuff in Scourge of Akshi. I think the new Chaos Warrior War Scroll is pretty sweet. And then Nighthaunt here as well, which is a fun surprise. I've been blabbering on for quite a while here. Is there anything you want to say about all this?
I mean, you touched on a lot of really really great points. Particularly with Soulblight, Seraphon, and Fire Slayers. My take on them doing as well as they have is obviously Seraphon Fire Slayers had some really good changes in the most recent battle scroll, but also with some Scourge of Ashki rules, particularly Soulblight and Seraphon. I see that as people who have collected these armies for a while and are probably quite passionate about them, but and particularly with Seraphon, haven't really maybe haven't had the opportunity to really express their skill in a way that is maybe giving them tournament results, but they're really coming out of the woodwork, it seems, and especially with those recent battle scroll changes, it seems to be doing well for them. Because was that 5 results with 1-5-0 over the weekend,
Yeah.
only being topped by Soulblight, which I've seen previously do quite well. That is a thing as well. I think Soulblight are somewhat uniquely set up to deal with this General's Handbook quite well, because with the current seasonal rules, particularly around Rage and the Eruption of Fury rule for an end of turn fight, people are really out in force with big smashy monsters, and Soulblight have definitely have ways to either snub those monsters or just entirely negate them. Think of like the Skirking True Blades nerf monsters like crazy, or just bogging them down in waves and waves of zombies and skeletons that they just cannot kill and will never leave. Like Soulblight are I think are in a great spot to deal with the current meta evolving as it is and as flux as it is. Like you said,
Yeah.
they probably have a good way of good thing to set up for. Um, Cities, Lumineth, and Daughters of Cain, and Sylvaneth as well. No surprise to see them getting good results and taking events as well. They are some of the strongest armies in the game at the moment. But seeing Fire Slayers and my boys, the Sons of Bahamut, uh, taking 5-0s as well is fantastic to see. Fire Slayers have been the bottom army for such a long time, right?
Yeah.
And as passionate as I do see some people be about them, like I know a couple of quite passionate players, Fire Slayers players. Say that 5 times fast. They're just not playing the army
Yeah.
because the rules have not been interesting. They don't have a book. The models are ancient, but maybe this is a turnaround for the army.
Yeah.
Um, and armies that haven't been doing well, like Gloomspite, Hellsmiths, Nighthaunt, Skaven to an extent, they're all doing well. That's fantastic to see. Slanesh I expected to see higher, but that might be. I think they have some quite strong rules in their book, just of how varied and diverse their abilities are to buff up themselves and also debuff their opponents. But I think there is a steep learning curve to that army, and that's maybe why we're not seeing more event results. And there's also the hobby factor of Hedonites are impossible to paint for the average painter. So
Yes,
that
that
is also probably why we don't see as many as we would.
that definitely applies, and it can also be that like the Hedonites units that are good are different to the ones that were previously good.
Hmm.
Because, for example, with cities, the previously good build involved a lot of Cavaliers, and Cavaliers are the best unit right now. So transitioning
Oh yeah,
over can be simpler because you've got less difference in your like less stuff to paint. Hobby is a genuine part of this game, and how the meta works is like, maybe four cogforts is the best army in the game, but like people haven't built and painted them yet. So yeah, that
yeah.
sort of
Who has
stuff is
four cog forts that they've painted up?
yeah,
Two people.
yeah, probably. Yeah, so this is it. We'll go through some lists now. So these are the power picks. These are the lists that I call meta defining, but these are just lists that I think are powerful and cool and want to talk about. And first, we've got this Soulblight Gravelords list. Fitting because they were the best army. Soulblight Gravelords back on All of Blood. Obviously, every Soulblight list is back on All of Blood. Even the Skeleton lists are back on All of Blood because buffing your one vampire is better than buffing your skeletons, apparently.
It
Yeah.
might as well be a faction ability. It might as well be a battle trait.
Yeah. You got the Lord of the Undeath, the Manifestation of the Grave, Burning for Vengeance, Siege of Ashes as tactics. It is running the Scourge of
It's
Actually Vengorian Lord with a Shard of Night and Immortal Ego, 2 units of Tree Blades, a reinforced units of Deadwalker Zombies with the Never Dead, a Scourge of Actually Revenant Draconinth, Lork of Eye, some Direwolves, Fellbats, a White King, and then topping it all off with the Regiment Renown, the Mortek Crawler one, the Siege Breaker. It's a big monster mash. Like, I think it is playing into some of the new rules combining with rage dice and those sort of attacks. The end of turn attacks are really good with big monsters like these ones. Um, the Vengorian Lord is very good with the Shard of Night and Immortal Ego. Makes him a little tankier with the Shard of Night, and Immortal Ego makes him a lot killier, a lot better at damage. Sorry. Um, True Blades are very good, obviously, for Strike Last. Deadwalker Zombies equipped with the Never Dead means that they get um basically sort of an ethereal 5-up save. Like save rolls of 5 don't fail. So that's very
it's
good.
it's worded very weirdly.
Yes.
It's also a traitor rage dice thing, but like 5-up ethereals pretty good to put on a unit that's as wound dense as reinforced
Yes.
deadwalkers.
Yeah, reinforced Deadwalkers, pretty wound dense. You've got your recursion obviously with Deathly Invocation. So that's quite good. Scourge of Actually Revenant Draconinth we'll talk about later. Look of Eye buffs all your monsters. You can add D3 to their companion profiles. Or if they don't have a companion profile, it can be one of their regular profiles. So that includes the Vengorian Lord's damage 3, Ren 3 damage 3 profile. You can add D3 to those attacks, which is quite good.
That's nuts.
It only lasts until end of turn, but it's still very strong. Then yeah, Direwolves and Fellbats just for being little dudes to run around and score you tactics. They'd be quite good at scoring Burning for like early stages on like Siege of Ashes and Burning for Vengeance or whatever. Just running around the board doing that sort of thing. And then you've got a White King, which stands on a
We were
backfield
talking
objective, I
about this.
guess. Yeah,
Yeah, we were talking about this. What the hell does the White King do in this list? Except for heal the dead walkers
well, there's no, it can't. Oh yeah, I guess the White King.
with just the battle trait.
Yeah, the White King could either be walking up behind the dead walker zombies to like, um, give them, um, yeah, the healing,
It's like
the
D3,
Deathly Invocation.
D3 healers.
They get to return slain models with a combined health characteristic of 3, so they get to bring back
Okay,
3 zombies. So yeah, maybe that is what he's there
yeah,
for. He
It's an interesting
is,
choice though, because we were saying before the show that wouldn't you get more value out of just another unit of Fellbats for zooming around and doing scoring for you? But
yeah,
I mean, this list went 4-1. I'm sure that there was a really good plan with it.
yes. And then finally, yeah, we got the Mortis and Ossifector and the Crawler. The Crawler can hand out Strike Last when it does shooting, when it like targets stuff with shooting damage. It'll be on a 3-up, which is very good when you're running a monster focused list, right? Because
Oh yeah,
when you're running multiple units, multiple big monsters that you want to be able to sort of fight one after the other, giving Strike Last is great because in comparison to having like one big unit of Blood Knights, your damage is sort of spread between multiple units, which could be a weakness if your opponent was able to get a fight sort of in between in sort of normal sequence. But if you can strike last, then like that's not an issue. Also to note, the crawler does pretty good damage. Like it's actually like no slouch in the shooting department,
oh yeah.
and can also be a little faction terrain sniper if you need it to be, which is kind of fun. If your opponent's got a piece of faction terrain that you really need gone, like a Loon Shrine in Gits or a
Or like a
Stormreach
Scaregob
Portal
Totem,
or yeah, Scaregob Totem.
Drill Boys.
Yeah, armies that really care about their
Maybe
faction terrain.
maybe Sylvaneth trees,
Yeah,
but that's a bit harder to control.
yeah, armies that really care about their faction terrain, you can like get rid of it from a very long range, which is quite good. So yeah, going on to some of the war scrolls. Here's the Vengorian Lord. Um, so you've got the same combat profile as a regular Vengorian Lord. Um, if it's in combat, you get a rage dice, which is good. Um,
Super good.
yeah, Soulblight has quite a few ways they want to be spending rage dice. We touched on one earlier with the Never Dead on the zombies, but there's another one on the Revenant Draconinth that we'll touch on later. So just gets a rage dice when it's in combat is great. Frenzied Surge is a really cool ability. You get to pick an infantry or monster unit within 12, and they can each move X plus D3, where X is your fury level. Um, which is very good. They don't have to end that move in combat as well. Oh no, they do. They do have to end the move in combat. I can't read. But yeah, they get to move. They get to do a little move, which is great. It can reposition, get you into units that your opponent didn't think that you could get into. Um, Extra movement is always good. And then yeah, Nightmare's Miasma, which is sort of the Vengorian Lord special rule. It also applies on Look of Eye. -1 rend for melee weapons used by enemy units while they're in combat is just great, right? You can sort of think of it as +1 to save in some aspects, but yeah, it's very good. Makes them a fair bit tankier. And yeah, decent combat profile, all the rest of it. He's one of the enhancements he's equipped with gives him re-rolls to hit and wound rolls, which is very
And
very
save
good.
rolls.
Hit, wound, and save roll. So yes, he gets a re-roll, one hit wound, one save roll. Yeah, one hit. Yeah, yeah. Each
And that's
and
per phase as well.
yes, and that is
We were
important.
saying before the
Importantly, per
show.
phase,
Sorry,
because
you do it.
yeah, sorry that I cut you off there, but yeah, importantly per
You're
phase
fine.
because the end of turn attacks you then get to reroll hit and wound rolls for those, which is very good. And
Mm-hmm.
the fact that he wounds on twos means he's going to get a lot of damage through very consistently, even in the end of turn step, which is very good. If you have enough rage dice to spend, but he generates them, so like it's probably not that bad.
Yeah, like you're always gonna have one extra rage die when this unit is in combat, right? You
Yes,
can you can use that for for anything. Like that extra rage die can be the one that you trade for your deadwalkers, or yeah, or it's for end of turn attacks, and
yes,
that could potentially put you up to 8 rage dice if you don't get them from any other source.
yes,
Um, so yeah, you really want to use those, and that X plus D3 for up to a 10-inch kick flip in the combat phase, kind of really awesome. Like,
Yeah, 10 inches is quite a lot. And like I've
it's
found in my
huge.
games that generating fury level is not super difficult. Like the places of power get you so much. Like you generate
Oh
it so
yeah,
quickly. And that could also be the use of the White King in this list, I guess, is he could run himself to a place of power and just sit there and farm it.
that's true. That's true. We didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, places of power get them so quickly that like and even with six, like 5 or 6 fury level, you're still moving, 7, 8 inches, which is quite good. Yeah, so we'll move
Yeah,
on
it's
to
just a huge amount of like zoominess that you can put, and it's not even to yourself. It's just non-hero infantry or monster. So you can like, does it have to be? No, the unit doesn't even have to be in combat at the beginning. Like if you fail your charge with your Draconith that this list has, the Vanguard Lord can just say, "Hey, you're going in 10 inches. Go where the fuck you want, but end in combat." Like that's a great use
yes.
case for it as well.
Yeah, it is one thing, yeah, that I didn't mention is that yeah, they get to move even if they don't have to be in combat to do this. So just like you can do with Vordry in a lot of these lists, you can if you auto run a Vengorian Lord, he can still do this. So if you auto run him, he's moved 16 inches, then he gets to move an additional 7 or 8 inches into combat. Like he basically gets a
Uh Not quite, not
not
quite.
quite.
The ability says another visible friendly non-hero.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
the
sorry,
Vanguard
he
Lord could
couldn't do it to himself, but you could do it
nah,
to another dude.
you can do it to a
No,
dragon.
he can
Like
do it to
that's
himself.
awesome.
He can do it. He does it to himself and another target.
Oh, this unit, if any,
This
can
unit
move up
and the
to
target can move. So
this
yeah,
unit and the card target.
yeah. So they both
We're
get to
both
do it.
reading things wrong today.
Yeah. A lot of new rules that we're trying to get through, folks. So if we make some mistakes,
Oh yeah,
yell
there's
at us in the
so
comments.
much.
Um, no, but yeah, it means that if you've got 5 fury, it's effectively he's auto getting a 5 inch charge, which is just
Yeah.
great.
Well, if you've got 5 fury, it's six
Oh yeah, it's
minimum.
6. Sorry, 6 minimum. Yeah, which
6 inch like murder lust basically.
yeah, he just gets it's like what you used to be able to do with Murderlust. Is you auto run him and he flings himself into combat, or you fling other things. Like it's a really strong ability. Um, there's a lot of stuff that I think you could possibly do with it, which is fun. So yeah, let's move on to the Revenant Draconith.
Oh, there's one more thing. This is any combat phase. That's a that's a free counter charge.
That too. Yep.
That's
Free
so
counter
good.
charge. We yeah. We just keep
There's
coming
so
up
much with
with
that ability you can do. There's keep coming up with use cases. That's
we keep
awesome.
coming up with
I love
stuff.
this war scroll. This is so cool. I hope I
Yeah.
never have to play against it.
Yeah, that seems nuts. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the Draconith. Let's keep
Yeah. Move
going.
on,
We've
move on,
talked
move on.
about
We'll
it
be here for forever.
forever, just trying to figure out ways. We're about to make a video, 10 use cases of the Vengorian Lord. Um, so yeah, here's just its attack profiles, which is I want to quickly highlight. Its shooting profile is decent. It's very fast. It's got decent amount of health. It's pretty squishy with its 5 up save, but 16 health is not nothing, and the 12-inch move combined with the stuff we were talking about earlier is sweet. The Draconic Maw is in it. Yeah, his combat profile is also pretty good. It's a fine combat profile. But
It's a reasonably punchy monster on
yeah,
a somewhat frail say. Yeah.
yes, yeah, that's pretty much it. But we'll go to its abilities. So first, the enemy hero phase ability, it gets to you can't end moves within X inches of it, where X is its fury level. So it means that if you've got, 5 fury, your opponent's or the unit that you picked at least has to be like 5 inches out instead of 3, which means that then when you do redeploys and stuff, it sort of compounds and makes him a little harder to get. That ability isn't particularly why I think this guy's great. It's his volatile animus ability. It's a lot of words, but effectively, so you spend a rage dice, and then you get to pick one of the following effects. So you either ignore positive modifiers to hit and wound rolls for attacks made by enemy units while they're in combat with him. You get +1 to save, and you get +1 to hit rolls for his attacks, including the companion weapons. That target an enemy unit that used a fight ability. So that mode makes him sort of tankier and better at sort of the counter punch. And then you've got the Unrelenting Ferocity, which is the other ability. You ignore negative modifiers, hit and wound rolls, and you get +1 rend and damage to this unit's companion melee weapons for attacks that target an enemy unit that has not used a fight ability. So yeah, either he becomes tankier or he does more damage. And +1 rend and damage when he's on like damage 3, damage 2, like those become a lot scarier. Um Also point that he can become semi-tanky with the -1 to save if he's next to a if your opponent is also in combat with a Vengorian Lord, they're -1 to rend. So he can actually sort of save stack himself a little bit, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I think that ability is sweet. Like he becomes tankier or he does more damage. You can add extra attacks with your Lock of Eye. You have to spend rage dice, but as we've said, you generate it quickly, and also the Vengorian Lord also generates it. Yeah, anything you want to say about the Draconith?
Yeah, I mean the ability to just not allow charge moves to end is nuts in its own. Like it's an enemy hero phase once per turn army. That's somewhat restricted, but it's exactly when you want it to be, right? You see one unit that you because it's enemy hero phase, you've seen all the buffs and stuff come out. So you see what unit is being primed to be a massive hammer in your opponent's turn that's going to come and like seriously fuck you up. You pick you pick that unit with this Draconith because it's just a visible unit. There's no
Yeah,
range
there's
on
no
this.
range.
There's no range on this. You just say, hey, you cannot end charge moves within X.
Well, it's
And
non-charge moves.
oh no, it is non-charge moves. Well, even still,
Yes.
you're at 7 rage or something like that. You park this. You do a redeploy to park this thing in front of your army. Maybe you've got the Soapy Vanguard Lord just behind for just in case, because then they have to finish 7 inches away, right? 7 inch charge is slightly above average for on a 2d6 roll. Um, if they fail that, then hey, you've got a great setup your turn to counterpunch that. But if they
Yeah.
do make that, then you've probably got your Vanguard Lord just behind there to do their like free counter charge essentially. Um, with it and another unit, maybe with the Draconeth, to like move it around somewhere else to prevent a pile in or something like that, and then yeah, it's got the 2 modes that it's in are both nuts. As you were reading that out, like I haven't read this war scroll before. As you were reading it out, I realized, holy shit, it gets all of those things under that header. It's not like okay, pick one of these like 7 abilities. It's
No.
you get 3 things. The first one, 2 for the other.
Yes. Yeah.
Add 1 to rend and damage. That's crazy. You're getting up to like 4s, 2s, rend 3, damage 4. That's 3 Kragnos attacks. All
Yeah,
on
that's
4s,
pretty
but
scary.
that's pretty scary. And ignore negative modifiers to hit wounds. And would that no, because modifiers. I was gonna say would that work on units like Lady Olinda, which force you to hit on fires? But no,
No,
because that's not a
no.
modifier. That's not a
Yeah.
modifier. I think this is a great. This is great to just have one of them, like this list
Yeah, I
does,
think one
because
of them
it's
with a Vengorian Lord, the fact that the Vengorian Lord can just be nearby and then swoop in, hand out the -1 rend,
oh
gets
yeah,
a rage dice, you then give out -1 to save rolls for your Draconith or whatever. He becomes tankier than your opponent was expecting. They don't kill him, he slaps back. Like, I think there's a lot of cool stuff here. Like, I didn't truly understand how good the new Vengorian Lord was. I think in our initial pass, we
yeah.
had sort of
That is a
underrated him
crazy
and
war
gone
scroll.
because he is 110 points more than the original version. But like, I don't
I can
know. I
see
think
why.
that ability is sweet. There's some cool stuff.
Yeah,
Soul Blight
this is
Sin.
an amazing list. Congratulations to Kyle Caleb on the 4-1.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic list.
Yeah, I might have
Fantastic
to try it
result.
out
Good.
myself. This is sweet. Yeah, let's go on to our next army. Yeah, after spending time.
Yeah, bitch. Yeah,
Yeah,
bitch.
here we go. We got this. This is a big list. You know, that last one took us a while. This one can take us
This
even
one
longer,
was
man.
so
We got
quick.
so many war
So
scrolls.
quick.
We Sons of Behemoth
Do-
Breaker Tribe with four Mega Gargants. Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. Do you want me to
Um,
break this down?
yeah, sure. Go through it quickly.
This is my army. This is my shit. All right. Hadrian Torrin, 5-0 at the how do you pronounce that?
Yeah, no.
At this event. This
Yeah.
event. I don't wanna get it wrong.
Yes.
Break a Tribe is an interesting choice. But Break a Tribe with Blazing Onslaught and Legend of the Podge. Good tactics, good thing. 4 soupy Gatebreaker Mega Gargants, one of which has the Mantle of Tuscan Horn, the +1 hit aura, once per game, the Rabble Rouser trait for +1 charge aura. This is such a simple list. And this is such a simple list, and when we get to the like War Scroll breakdown, I'll say more, but like this is so simple. The Breaker Tribe for the 6-up ward, when they're near each other, is interesting to me because I've ran that for a very long time in my Gargants lists, but I have moved over to the extra relic formation because I think that's just better. But honestly, like in this list, since there's no priest, you can't take advantage of that really great new prayer to hand out a 6-up ward. So it's I think it's definitely a good. I think it's definitely a good choice for what they're going for, of just 4 huge walls of meat and a massive shooting output. Um, this is the most gambling list
Yes.
maybe ever. This
Yeah.
army is already gambling incarnate, but these new war scrolls, which I love, are just even more gambling, and it almost always goes your way.
Yeah, I'll go to the war scrolls in a second. I've got a couple things I want to say. I think, obviously in a general's handbook that cares about fighting in the midboard and like midboard brawls, the Gargants are going to return to being strong. It's sort of the last time Gargants were really strong and sort of dominant was at the end of the previous, well, not the previous general, the General's Handbook before the previous one, the very first General's Handbook of this edition. Gargants sort of came into their own at the end, and that General's Handbook was very midward brawl focused. So when we return to that, Gargants we're going to do well. And also, this new Gatebreaker is very, very strong. Yeah, 4 Mega Gargants is obviously very good. Um, I've always been under the impression that when running 4 Mega Gargants, you prefer to be in Broad Stomp, but it would mean you'd have to run Broad, I guess, so you'd lose out on one of your Gatebreakers. Whatever. It's cool. Let's just go to the Gatebreaker War Scroll. Um, so yeah, we'll start with its combat profile, or its stats. Standard
This
Gargant
is
stuff.
yeah.
But
This is all exactly the same as the regular Gatebreaker.
yeah, yeah,
Not
decent
much to
damage or
talk
whatever.
about. It's probably the best standard war scroll that Gargants have. Like just combat and stat line wise, King Broad's probably a little bit better. Well, it actually definitively is better because it's more damage on the main weapon, and then 5 more health. But you're also got that really spicy Ren 3 shooting attack here, which when we go to the War Scrolls abilities, you'll see why that's even better.
Yes. So yeah, let's go to the abilities. It's got battle damaged, obviously. So yeah, it's going down is its sort of key ability, I feel. Um,
Yeah, that's the real cream on
yeah.
top.
It gets a 4d6
Actually,
move,
yeah, this is the cream.
and
Yeah,
then it also, if it's within 1 inch of a terrain feature, it gets d6 boulder attacks instead of 1. Now, just keeping in mind that your boulder is rend 3 damage 4, hitting on 3s. That is before you all out
oh yeah.
attack this, by the way, to make it 2s and 2s at rend 3 damage 4. But yeah, going back to it, yeah, that's obviously great, and making him a lot faster, or potentially a lot faster, is very good. Off in a huff, you and your opponent roll off, and then he can just move into combat if you win the roll off, which is just insane. like stops any of your opponent's possible recourse to him getting into combat is if you could just do it before your opponent has a redeploy or any other tricks. And yeah, the rest of the rules are standard Gargant's rules. It doesn't get just automatically destroyed, and it can walk over
Move
things.
over shit, yeah.
Yeah,
Every Gatebreaker has the same 3 abilities: Battle Damage, Son of Behemoth, Longshanks. The 2
yes,
extra ones are the
yeah,
real meat and potatoes.
yeah. What's your?
Oh, I love him. I love him so much. Um, I love this War Scroll so much. I played a game with our friend not too long earlier today, and holy shit! This is the Tabled by Two podcast, and our poor friend was tabled by two. Two of these War Scrolls over the span of 3 shooting phases. Uh, his, mine, and sorry, it was mine, his, and then mine again. Did 60 damage with just shooting attacks
Yeah,
before like wards or anything, because both of them hit the 6 on their d6 and then didn't miss anything because they all attacked 1. These guys are nuts. This ability on its own turns these soapy gatebreakers into the in my opinion, if you hit that 6, the single most powerful shooting unit in all of Age of Sigmar potentially. I struggle to think of one that's better.
yeah, very
Like just
potentially.
just on its own. They
18-inch
and then
range. It's
yeah, 2s and 2s with an all-out attack, Ren 3/4 damage. Like there's so little in this game that can survive that.
yeah, cripples a lot
Especially
most
if you
stuff.
oh yeah, if you're hitting those 6s for the attack characteristic, or even a 5, these guys do so much. And this is
Yeah,
once per battle your hero phase. You can pop all 4 soapy gatebreakers in the same turn and just mince things at range. And then not even to mention the 4d6. Like on average, that's a little bit faster than normal, but then it can be up to 24 inches of movement, which can ignore units because of off and a half and longshanks. So you can just hop over your entire opponent's army and just go take their backfield if you wanted to. You could just do that.
yeah,
And off and a half itself as well opens up so many weird cool movement characteristics. Like these guys can't pin them down because off and a half is a core move ability of its own, and it doesn't say like you can't use this in combat. You can use that ability to retreat, shoot, and charge for free, and it's not a retreat ability. So like abilities that turn off retreats and stuff don't work on it because you could just leave. I genuinely, huh? Yeah, it's really crazy. I do not want these guys to get FAQ'd, but I feel like they might get FAQ'd so that something about these 2 abilities doesn't work exactly how it does right now. But I love this War Scroll. It is maybe the it is it's definitely the new best War Scroll in Sons of Bahamut. Um I was a little bit worried because I kind of predicted that RGW is gonna give us some new soapy War Scrolls, and they're gonna be shooting War Scrolls, and it's gonna be bad because this army doesn't do shooting. But then they did make them shooting War Scrolls, and oh my god, they're crazy good. Basically, yeah, I can see where this player Hadrian Taran went 5-0 with this list. I'm on like a 7-game win streak with a very similar very similar list. They're nuts, and when they're paired with, I mean, I was gonna say when they're paired with like prayers and stuff to hand out strike last like we can now and stuff like that, they're even more crazy. But honestly, four gatebreakers does the job. Does the job without support. You just need to hit those 6s. I love gambling. Oh, Oh yeah, I could talk forever. I could talk forever. God. Cool to see the Cron spine list as well. Hey. Hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
Right.
Oh, really?
It's fine. I will. Hopefully it gets itself back online in a second. Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Cool. Sorry about that. I'm right back. Cool. Further great plan. Is the ability that matters. Um, Effectively, what this means is so previously, in Seraphon, your battle traits worked that at the start of the game you'd pick one asterism, and then at the end of battle round 3, or I believe start of battle round 3, if you completed the asterisms quest, you'd get to pick a second one. Now, what it means is at the start of the battle round, if you've completed the quest of the asterism that you have picked, you then get to pick another one. And you can keep doing that if you keep completing the different quests of the different asterisms. Um, so you can possibly unlock all 4 of these asterism abilities rather than before where you could only get 2 of them. Um, and it's pretty easy for you can pick Tepok the Seer, and then by battle round 2, if as long as your Slann isn't in combat and is still on the battlefield, you'll then get a second asterism. And then you could get +2 to move or crit 2 hits on your companion weapons, which is quite good on your Agrodons. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Being able to unlock more battle traits is fun. There are a lot of armies in sort of Seraphon's position, or that were in Seraphon's position, that the battle traits just kind of aren't that fun and kind of uninteresting, and they got buffed in a small way that makes them a lot more fun. I feel like this happened most recently, I guess, with Blades of Corn, where their blood drenched ability became a lot more fun and interesting to play with, and like that applies here with Seraphon. Is there anything you want to say?
Um, Not too much. I'm not overly familiar with Seraphon. I just know that they've not been doing well for a while. But this new writing of their core battle trait is far more flexible and open for actually really using it to the full extent that you want to. Like you're using your army trait far more.
Yeah,
Is all you're doing. Like yeah, like it takes a you have to satisfy things. There's stippies to it, there's stipulations, but most of them are not too hard to do. Like three or more enemy units have been destroyed. There's no enemy units wholly within front of like the whole list. None
yeah,
of them are particularly difficult to do,
no,
and each of like the like rewards for doing those quests are all super good, and it's just all friendly Seraphon units get this, whether they can benefit from it or not. Obviously, not everyone is going to benefit from casting rolls, but it's a super solid trait, and it's I think this is a really good rewrite of it before they get their book sometime before the end of the year, probably.
yes. Let's go to the War Scroll. I'm talking about the Soapy Scar Veteran. Here, its combat profile is the same as the original one, so I didn't feel the need to talk about it. Basically, so it can pick itself and a Seraphon cavalry unit to put themselves in reserve, and then they get to set themselves up with it holding within 7 inches of the battlefield, more than 9 inches from all enemy units. And then finally got the Reptilian Insights ability. It can use the ability even in reserve, and you get to pick each. Sorry, each friendly unit that's talking to play to be the targets. So yeah, this is your opponent declaring a shoot ability. After the shoot ability is resolved, you set up each target more than 9 inches from all enemy units, and within 18 inches of the unit that's shot. Then you can spend 3 rage dice, and they get to move that many inches. And it has to end no further than the unit that used the shoot. And then if it charges, it has to end up within combat with the unit that shot. Um, its ability is very wordy, and I didn't think it read very strong. But it does mean that if your opponent shoots at something, you can then just pop out, a Scar Veteran and 6 Agrodons right in front of them, which is pretty cool. It might make your opponent second guess using a covering fire, because then you could just out of nowhere pop out, move 3 inches, and then charge into your opponent's shooting unit or whatever. So I don't know. I didn't think this was a particularly strong war scroll. I tend to think that putting cavalry units in reserve is not a thing I really want to be doing, because cavalry are fast. So wouldn't I want to just run there rather than have to drop them in reserve? But this player seemed to get results with it, so maybe it's good. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts as well. GW seems to really like giving fast moving units deeper strike abilities, which is very antithetical considering that Agrodons and I think Scarvets also both have like 10-inch movement
Yes.
already, or something like that. There's it's like, and then with one of your asterisms, you can add two to that
Add
move
2
as
to
well. It's like
move.
what? There's not much point giving out that that deep strike, but I do like that it is it's I do like the bit of it being like, oh, this the opponent declares a shoot ability in any turn. You can use that to pop out in their turn and like fuck up something with their plan and a counter charge, or
Yeah.
use that in your turn to like punish a covering fire. Especially, oh, actually, here's a use case because it's opponent declared a shooting ability. That this would happen before the unit actually shoots, right?
Yes.
So you can pop if you're getting covering fired and and that thing that is being targeted is like you really need it to live or for it to not lose a bunch of efficiency from being shot. And say it is like 8 inches away, or it's 7.1 inches. Let's say you
Um,
drop down your unit in the back and then move them forward that 3, then that is a new closest unit. So that would fuck over a covering fire, would it not?
no, because with the way the covering fire works, you've already declared your target before this ability would go off, so it wouldn't change who gets
Okay.
shot. But with
Okay.
countercharge and stuff, I could see it being good. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
There's cool use cases for it. But again, I would probably like to see that ability be allowed to be given to something slow moving like Croxagore.
Yeah,
I think I think Crocs would have a much would see a lot more value being able to being actually it would be a 6 inch charge, but being able to pop down, move 3 to a 6 inch counter charge, and then do that, or do that in your turn. But rather than like Agrodons or Raptidons, which are already moving so fast that you don't need a counter charge, deep strike for that. But there's certainly some interesting play there, and that can further the skill expression of the faction a little bit, I think.
yeah. So yeah, next we have got my picks. These are the lists that I think are cool and fun, and I want to talk about. First we've got Iron Jaws, my boys, or one of my boys. It's got Iron Jaws Brawl, Lord, all this shit. Siege of Ashes and Blazing Onslaught. It's got Kragnos, unit of Gorgrunters, and Morgrunt Gouge with Fasten. 2 reinforced units of Scourge of Akshi Brutes, a Weird Knob Shaman, reinforced Weird Brute Wreckers, and a War Chanter. The Morgrunt Gouger is the one that gives out Strike Last. It's got Fasten for the hero phase move, so it can really get places. Kragnos, obviously, Destro favorite for 3d6 charging. And the new brutes are awesome. We'll talk about them in a second. Weird Knob Shaman for the casting. Weird Brute Wreckers just as a guise to stand on a circle. They got a 5-up ward, which makes them sort of tanky. And then, yeah, War Chanter for your prayers with the Eye for the Fight for the minimum 4 redeploys. Iron Jaws are a lot stronger now. I think the new brutes are awesome. And I think in not the previous battle scroll, but the one before that, they changed the timings on a lot of our spells. So instead of lasting until the end of turn, they last until the start of our next turn, which makes them just a lot more in line with modern AOS design language, and also just a lot stronger. So crit 2 hits and +1 damage were the ones that I believe got changed, and that's great. Like being able to give out crit 2 hits to your brutes, and that lasts not only during your turn, but then onto your opponent's turn afterwards, is a game changer. That does change the way the army plays and feels in a very real way. Yeah, Kragnos is great, Gouge is great. Gorgrunt is just for moving around and standing on things. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the War Scrolls. Anything you want to say?
Not too much. This is a very fast list with Kragnos and the hero phase moving more grunters. Like
Yeah,
this is a very very quick. I'm going to get in your face, and you are going to be torn to pieces.
yeah.
It's
Sign
it's a
Jaws.
very it's a very simple like it's a very simple like strategy and idea with this list, and I love it.
Yeah, the brutes are not super fast, but they can be a little faster the with Mighty Destroyers, which is Iron Jaw's 3-inch hero phase move, and then also counter
Mm.
charge. Oh, not counter charges. 3-inch hero phase move. They get +1 to charge from the War. Iron Jaw's Brawl the Battle Formation cares about rolling unmodified 8 pluses to charge rolls, which if you get a
With
3d6
Kragnos,
charge from Kragnos,
that's
that's
free. That's
a
free.
lot easier. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to go to the brutes. 4-inch move,
Mm.
3 health on a 3-up save. A decent attack profile, but what we're caring about is the you call that a punch ability here. It's once per turn army reaction. Opponent declared an attack ability that targeted this unit, and then for the rest of the turn, +1 to hit and wound rolls for this unit's combat attacks that target that enemy unit. It's awesome. Your
That's
opponent
great.
does have a lot of counterplay depending on scenarios, but I had a game against Vordry once. He swings in, I get +1 to hit and wound, and I swing back. Like those sort of plays happen a lot, and you just do so much damage on that backswing. And it means brutes don't need to be the first one to fight. Like they can take a hit and then swing back for a lot of damage. And also that I did the math, and I believe you need to get to half what in a reinforced unit of brutes. You've got 10. You need to get down to 5 brutes before 5 brutes matches 10 brutes if they've got the +1 to hit and wound. Like 10 unbuffed brutes and
Wow.
5 with +1 to hit and wound are the same amount of damage. Like you have to do a lot of damage to really start reducing their output with the +1 to hit and wound. And brutes are a pretty tanky profile, right? Like 3 health on a 3-up save, that's a lot of wounds to chew through. And because you're getting +1 to hit and wound, you can use all that defense and not reduce any of your offensive output at all. If your opponent has multiple units in combat, or maybe a manifestation or something, or ways that they can play with activation order in so that the brutes have to fight before they've gotten fought into, or you fought with something that like they don't want to get +1 to hit and wound into or whatever, there's ways that you can play around it, but I think it's a very strong ability, and brutes are awesome. So I think it's awesome to see brutes do well and see Ironjaws up here performing. And then finally, after this very long extravaganza here, we're talking about Nighthaunt, Deathstalkers. It's running Lady Alinda, the Scourge of Actually Black Coach, Reinforced Banshees, Reinforced Scourge of Actually Spirit Hosts with the Cowards and Deserters ability, some Chain Ghasts, a Lord Executioner and some Chain Rasps, a Krulgus Cruciator, and some Dirt Scythe Harridans. I'm not going to spend too long on this list because I'm not the most familiar with Nighthaunt, but I did think it was cool that they were running the new Spirit Hosts. We'll talk about those in a second. I've got their Wall Scroll ability. Oh, great. I have screwed up here. Let me get back to where we were up to. God. Okay, here we go. Nighthaunt. Lady Alinda brings stuff back and is also a good caster, hard to kill. Black Coach does good damage. Banshees are like the best hammer your army has access to, which is kind of weird, but it's pretty cool. The Spirit Host will get to their ability in a second, but they do have the Cowards and Deserters, which means if they get... So, reaction to declaring a fight ability for them, and after they fight, you get to roll a dice, and you can add a rage to it if you do. Add a rage, which adds +1 to the roll, and if you get a 3+, it gets to move... gets to move out of combat, which is kind of cool. It sort of combos with some of their other rules a little bit. Chain Ghast can give out +1 to hit. Lord Executioner is kind of a fun little damagey piece. And the Krulgus Cruciator ignores the first damage points each phase. And then you got Harridans just to stand around and do stuff. Yeah, it's Nighthaunt. I don't really know that much about it, but I thought that Scourge of Actually Spirit Host seeing play in a reinforced capacity as well is actually kind of cool. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, I'm also just like with Seraphon, I'm very unfamiliar with Nighthaunt and their current state of play, but it's fantastic to see them actually gaining some results after a very underwhelming battle tome this edition, kind of cementing them as a solidly like mid to low tier army, unfortunately. But it's great to see them snagging that 4-1 played by Madigan Mason.
Yes.
But I like this list. I think it's quite simple, and it's good to see the new soupy stuff coming out into the.
Yeah, so here's the Spirit Host ability. So you pick an enemy unit in combat with this unit to be the target, then you can pick a Nighthaunt hero to be the friendly target, and you spend a rage dice, and if you do, apply the effect below. Otherwise, you can try it on a 3-up, and you either get -1 to hit rolls for attacks made by the enemy target that do not target this unit. Ignore positive modifiers, and if you picked if you picked a friendly target, you get +1 damage to their melee weapons. So you can make your hero a little hittier. -1 to hit for attacks that don't target this unit. It sort of combos with their ability to sort of get themselves out of combat after they fight, so they can sort of fight, be not in combat anymore, and then your opponent would just have -1 to hit against whatever's still in combat, which is kind of neat. Um, yeah, I don't know. Nighthorn is cool and interesting, but like, it's a unique rule that maybe has a lot of play. I think Madigan's just a very good player who knows the rules very well, and like that applies for a lot.
That's true.
That applies for a lot in this game, but like Nighthorn doing well is cool, and this was I just wanted to see Spirit Hosts. Like they are famously the worst models to assemble, as I've heard. So seeing them see some play is kind of cool.
Really?
Yeah, they suck to assemble, but they're they're seeing some play, which is cool. And yeah, that's the
Oh
episode.
god, yeah, those look so. Yeah, I don't envy anyone who's had to put together this kit.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow. Yeah. Well, congratulations to all the people featured and everyone
yeah,
who's got results over the weekend. Fantastic job from everyone. Keep it up. Good to
yes,
see the the unused and the unloved getting their time at the moment. That's really what it's all about, isn't it? With these shakeups to the meta, to
yeah,
see things come out that haven't really had a moment for a long time, or maybe never have. Like, it's so cool seeing Seraphon as like the second highest win rate over the weekend. That's
yeah,
incredible. That just brings the biggest smile to my face. It's awesome.
yeah. It's awesome. Yeah, it's a cool week, and we'll keep talking about the meta and how it evolves and shakes up going forward. Ogres have just hit. Like we'll see ogres hit
Mm,
tables soon, and that's kind of exciting and
so
cool.
key.
And there's some awesome stuff in that ogres tome, and even the regiments of renown. Like I think we'll see some play of that Thundertusk regiment of renown in some greenskins armies going forward. But yeah, no, this has been a cool episode, a long one. Talked about a lot of lists here, but it's been fun. Thanks for watching.